On Global TV News Prime, Federal Executive Council approves 100% gratuity for retiring federal civil servants. And Business President Tinubu proposes Grid Asset Management Company to fix power transmission. And on the foreign scene, Somalia approves new constitution, introduces direct elections. In sports, Confederation of African Football reschedules WAFCON 2026 tournament to July-August. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved a new exit benefit scheme that will grant retiring federal civil servants a gratuity equivalent to 100% of their total annual enrollment, marking a major policy shift in the country's public service retirement structure. The Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation disclosed this development in a statement issued in Abuja by its Director of Press and Public Relations, Eno Olotu. According to the statement, the gratuity scheme will take effect from January 1st, 2026 and is designed to strengthen the welfare framework for federal civil servants by providing additional financial security at retirement. Now, in another development, the Federal Executive Council has approved the restoration of the National Commission for Mass Literary, Adult and Non-Formal Education as a full agency under the Federal Ministry of Education. This was disclosed by Tunji Alausa after the Civil Council meeting presided over by Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the Senate House in Abuja. The Council also endorsed a 6-year moratorium on the establishment of new tertiary institutions across the country. The Federal Executive Council has approved implementation of a GIS-enabled or digital postcode system aimed at modernizing Nigeria's national addressing framework. This was disclosed by the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, in a post shared on X. According to the minister, the approval was granted under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as part of efforts to deliver on the targets outlined in the ministry's strategic blueprint. Moving on, now the federal government says it has the capacity to identify and apprehend foreigners who overstay their visas in the country. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, disclosed this in Abuja during the 2026 Sectorial Performance Review Retreat of the Federal Ministry of Interior. Tunji-Ojo said the government now possesses comprehensive data that enables authorities to track individuals who have entered the country over the past decade and determined those who have failed to comply with their visa conditions. According to him, the development followed the establishment of an integrated operations center and a network operations center by the Nigerian Immigration Service. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to delivering durable road infrastructure nationwide. Officials of the Federal Ministry of Works made this known during a media tour of ongoing projects in the Federal Capital Territory. The Federal Comptroller of Works in the FCT, Yakubu Usman, said the project aligns with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He noted that the Maraba-Kefi Expressway project is over 90% complete, while the work is also progressing on sections of the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. Several rehabilitation and drainage projects in Buari, Lugbe, and Gwagwalada were also commissioned as part of efforts to improve mobility and economic activities. The Federal Ministry of Environment has launched a major climate education initiative aimed at strengthening environmental awareness across schools in the Federal Capital Territory. The launch was in collaboration with the Society for Planet and Prosperity. Global Television environment correspondent Ubong Usoro reports.
The program seeks to equip secondary school teachers with the knowledge and tools needed to educate students on climate change and environmental sustainability. Director of Science, Technology and Mathematics at the Secondary Education Board, Abdullahi Zaki, says the goal is to make climate education practical, engaging and solution-driven.
And so in this regard, I want to say that the knowledge we are going to gain here should not only improve ourselves, but also better ourselves in the environment we live in our schools, as awareness creators for the environment and propagators for the greenhouse environment.
Of the Society for Planet and Prosperity, Chukwu Merije Okereke, says the program will cover schools across the FCT, including Wari, Gwagwalada, and Abuja Municipal Area Council. He explained that the first phase began with 40 teachers from schools within AMAC using a comprehensive climate education manual developed by the society last year.
Those forests are powerhouses for our atmosphere, for the entire earth. One of the things they do is that they produce the oxygen that we enjoy. Currently, an hour of oxygen costs over 100,000 naira if someone had to buy artificial oxygen.
Organizers say the initiative is expected to deepen climate awareness among young people and empower the next generation to take informed actions towards environmental sustainability. Ubong Osoro for Global Television News.
The House of Representatives has begun legislative moves to establish a legal framework that will guide the implementation of Nigeria's national decarbonization program, part of efforts to accelerate the country's transition to a low-carbon economy and strengthen its climate governance structure. Now, the chairman of the House Committee on Mandatory National Decarbonization, Sese Wilgang, disclosed this while briefing journalists after a technical roundtable with stakeholders on the National Decarbonization Program held in Abuja. Wilgang explained that although Nigeria already operates under the Climate Change Act, the proposed National Decarbonization Bill seeks to reinforce existing policies and provide a more coordinated legal framework for the country's climate transition effort. Now, according to him, the bill has already scaled its first and second reading in the Green Chamber and is expected to proceed to the public hearing stage before the end of the month. Meanwhile, the Kano State House of Assembly has commenced impeachment proceedings against the State Deputy Governor Aminu Abdulsalam Gwarzo over allegations of gross misconduct, abuse of office and breach of public trust. The notice of impeachment was formally presented during plenary by the Majority Leader Lawan Hussaini, who stated that the move was in line with Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. According to Lawan, the notice outlines multiple allegations connected to Abdulsalam's time as Commissioner for Local Government between 2023 and 2024, as well as actions allegedly taken in his current capacity as Deputy Governor. The lawmakers representing Bayelsa West Senatorial District, Senator Serika Dixon, has defected from the People's Democratic Party to the newly registered Nigerian Democratic Congress. Dixon announced his decision at a World Press Conference held at his residence in Abuja, where he said the opposition party that once dominated Nigeria's political landscape had deteriorated significantly. The former governor of Bayelsa State expressed sadness over what he described as the declining state of the PDP, noted that the party which once brought hope and excitement to his people had become gravely ill. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has discharged and acquitted suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari of a 23-count charge of alleged non-declaration of assets filed against him by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Delivering judgment, Justice James Omotosho held that the Anti-Narcotics Agency failed to provide sufficient evidence to prove the allegations against Kyari and his two brothers, who are also accused of swearing false affidavits to conceal the origin of certain properties. The judge held that the prosecution did not tender credible documents linking Kyari to landed properties in Foundation Estate Kasona, said to belong to Ramatu Kyari, or to properties located at Linda Choko Road in Asokoro and in Maiduguri, Borno State. Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, has assumed control of the persecution of a former Accountant General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and his son Abdulaziz over alleged terrorism-related offences and unlawful possession of firearms. Developments emerged at the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the Director of Public Prosecutions of the Federation, Rotimi Oyedekbo, informed the court that the case file had been transmitted from the Department of State Services to the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. He sought an adjournment to enable the prosecution to review the case file and take an informed decision, adding that a short date would suffice. The Independent National Electoral Commission has raised concern over what it described as unnecessary litigation and persistent internal leadership crisis within political parties. Chairman of the Commission, Josh Amupiton, expressed concern at a technical workshop on the revision of the Commission's regulations and guidelines for political parties in Ikot Ekpene, Akwa Ibom State. Amupiton lamented that rather than serving as vehicles for national transformation, political parties are witnessing a disturbing pattern of leadership disputes and internal conflicts, warning that the trend is undermining its commitment to democratic consolidation. Now, in another development, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Josh Amupiton, has promised to deliver a free, fair, credible, peaceful, and inclusive election that will meet the yearnings of Nigerians in 2027. Amupiton, represented by the resident electoral commissioner of Anambra State, Queen Elizabeth, made the promise at the Electoral Integrity Summit organized by the Kimpact Development Initiative with support from the UK International Development in Abuja. He said the Commission was aware of Nigerian expectations, given its pivotal role, urged all hands to be on deck to ensure credible polls, as everyone who participates in the exercise is a stakeholder. You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello and you're welcome to NIMET's weather forecast. The increased chances of thermal discomfort come Friday over the south and the central states. Temperatures along cities adjoining the Benue and Niger River are between 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, increasing thermal discomfort also within this narrow band. We are clear of dust haze over the country for now, but we still expect sunny skies over the north and central states with some haziness attendant. We expect rains to the coast of the south and the southwest, even though these prospects are slim to Edo and Ondo State. We could see some rains reaching up to northern part of Oyo State, and these rains are expected to be accompanied by strong winds. You may want to stay clear of loose objects. Don't stay under the mast during rains and avoid staying under trees for refuge. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has proposed the establishment of a grid asset management company to address persistent challenges in Nigeria's electricity transmission network. The development was disclosed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to Idris, the president presented the proposal directly in a memorandum to the council for deliberation, highlighting the need to straighten the transmission segment, widely regarded as the weakest link in the power sector. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced a successful conclusion of a settlement agreement between the federal government, INI, and Nigerian Agip Exploration Limited over oil prospecting license OPL 245. This is contained in a statement issued by presidential spokesperson Bayo Ononuga in Abuja, stating that the announcement was made in a meeting attended by the Chief Executive Officer of INI, Claudio Gasglazi, and other senior officials. The agreement brought to a close the long-standing dispute over OPL 245, paving the way for the development of one of Nigeria's most significant deep water resources. Moving on now to Vice President Kashim Shettima says the federal government's ongoing tax reforms are designed to improve the lives of Nigerians and reduce the burden on small businesses and low-income earners, rather than impoverish them. Shettima made the remark in Abuja while speaking on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at an interfaith breaking of fast held at the State House to mark the observance of Ramadan and Lent. The Vice President said the tax reforms are aimed at eliminating multiple levies and charges that have long burdened small businesses and ordinary. You're welcome back. We apologize for that short break. Moving on now on the news. Speaking of Vice President Shettima, Vice President Kashim Shettima says the federal government's ongoing tax reforms are designed to improve the lives of Nigerians and reduce the burden on small businesses and low-income earners, rather than impoverish them. Shettima said the remark in Abuja while speaking on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at an interfaith breaking of fast held at the State House to mark the observance of Ramadan and Lent. The Vice President said the tax reforms are aimed at eliminating multiple levies and charges that have long burdened small businesses and ordinary Nigerians. He said the policies were carefully designed to improve livelihoods and reduce poverty, contrary to claims by critics of the administration. The Senate has ordered the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to account for and refund a staggering 210 trillion naira, following findings of unexplained and irregular financial records spanning in 2017 to 2023. The demand came from the Senate Public Accounts Committee after reviewing the company's audited statements. National Assembly correspondent Aneti Patrick tells us more.
The Senate's Public Accounts Committee has accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited of failing to properly account for 210 trillion naira in its financial records. Chairman of the committee, Aliyu Wadada, disclosed the findings during a press briefing, saying the company could not satisfactorily explain 103 trillion naira recorded as accrued expenses and 107 trillion naira listed as sundry receivables. The committee also raised concerns over duplicated subsidy claims, inflated production costs, and 5.9 billion naira allegedly spent on a name change exercise, actions lawmakers describe as unacceptable.
NNPC should and must account for the two figures. Then the two figures put together make up 210 trillion. The second resolution of the committee that the NNPCL should refund to Treasury all production costs charged against crude oil revenue.
In response, the committee has resolved to summon both past and present management of NNPCL alongside officials of NAPIMS and the company's external auditors to provide detailed explanations for the discrepancies. Lawmakers further directed the Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit of the company's accounts to ensure transparency, accountability, and proper management of public funds.
Immediate past management of NNPC and NAPIMS and their auditors to be laid by the present NNPCL management to provide clearer explanations regarding how these infractions happened, which will further enable the committee to take measures that will forestall future occurrences in the management of public funds.
The Senate says it is committed to ensuring full accountability in the management of Nigeria's oil revenues, stressing that all discrepancies must be clarified in the interest of transparency and public trust. From the National Assembly, Aneti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Nigeria's Senate has launched a probe into the collapse of crypto billion exchange CBEC. As Economic and Financial Crimes Commission reveals, it has raised over $46 million in cryptocurrency transactions linked to the scheme. Disclosure came during a public hearing on proposed amendment to banking laws aimed at tightening regulations and curbing the rise of Ponzi operations across the country. National Assembly correspondent Anita Patrick reports.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has confirmed it is prosecuting Nigerian promoters of the failed crypto billion exchange, CBEC, over their alleged involvement in a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme. Speaking at a public hearing organized by the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, EFCC's representative Dane White disclosed that forensic investigations uncovered significant cryptocurrency transactions linked to the scheme. According to him, detailed blockchain analysis traced more than $46 million in stablecoin USDT to digital wallets identified as collection points operated by the promoters.
Now, when we looked at what happened to the flow of funds, we found out that these monies will come into the wallet and it kept on bouncing off different wallets on the blockchain.
The hearing was convened as part of deliberations on a bill seeking to amend the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act. This followed a motion calling for a comprehensive investigation into the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria with particular reference to the CBEC incident. Chairman of the committee, Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, said the amendment is aimed at strengthening regulatory oversight and preventing future financial fraud.
We are addressing two issues of national significance. One, the consideration of the bill for an act to amend the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, SB 959, and the motion mandating an investigative hearing into the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria with particular reference to the recent crypto bullion exchange, CBEC.
Declaring the hearing open on behalf of the President of the Senate, Senate Leader Senator Opeyemi Bamidele stressed that broad stakeholder engagement remains critical to restoring public confidence in Nigeria's financial system.
The Senate will carefully consider all submissions and recommendations presented here today.
As investigations continue and prosecutions advance, lawmakers say the proposed amendments to banking regulations are expected to close existing loopholes and shield Nigerians from emerging digital financial scams. From the National Assembly, Anita Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
On the foreign scene now, Somalia has approved a new constitution allowing lawmakers to be directly elected by the public for the first time. And in years of selection by clan elders and parliament, Prime Minister Hamza Audi Barre called it an historic victory, though opposition parties boycotted the vote. President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, who has championed the reform planned elections in June, but amendments extending his mandate by a year may delay the vote. Security threats from Al-Shabaab, weak infrastructure, and regional opposition, including from Jubaland, Puntland, and breakaway Somaliland, pose significant challenges to holding nationwide elections. Moving on now to European Union leaders have expressed support for Arab countries in the Gulf as Iran continues to launch missiles and drone strikes on targets across the region in response to attack by the United States and Israel. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas and other European leaders held talks with Gulf Cooperation Council officials in Brussels, denouncing what they described as Iran's inexcusable attack against the GCC countries. The statement also reaffirmed that Gulf countries have the right to take all necessary measures to defend their security and stability and protect their territories, citizens, and residents. The meeting came amid mounting concerns over the widening fallout of U.S.-Israel attack on Iran, which have killed at least 1,230 people since Saturday. United States President Donald Trump has rated the U.S. performance in the war with Iran as a 15 on a scale of 10. Trump, who has vowed to push with aggression, made the comment as the conflict expanded on its fifth day, with U.S. submarines sinking and Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka and fresh blasts across the Middle East. Zarau Nasru tells us more.
Trump also stated that Tehran's arsenal of ballistic missiles was being wiped out rapidly. He refuted his justifications for attacking Iran, saying Tehran was on its way to obtaining a nuclear weapon. The U.S. leader pledged that he will move forward with the joint air campaign with Israel that has already slain Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei on its opening day on Saturday.
We've had a nuclear weapon. If we didn't do the B-2 attack a number of months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon. And when crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad things happen. So we're in very good shape now. I want to let you know that, and we will continue forward. But it's a great display of military strength, and I'm very proud to.
Trump's administration has faced criticism after days of mixed messages about the rationale for the war, given the Republicans' previous campaign boast about starting no new wars. Zahra Unasir, reporting for Global TV.
In sports decks now, Bayelsa State Government has announced the maiden edition of Yenangwa City International 10-kilometer race scheduled for April 4th, 2026. The race aims to position Bayelsa as a major hub for global sports tourism. The event is designed to showcase the culture, resilience, and talent of the Niger Delta to international community. A total of 128 boxers, including 4 diaspora athletes, are competing at the Brea Ayonut Boxing Complex in Surulere as Nigeria holds open trials to select 10 representatives for the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. The team's size was expanded following the intervention of the National Sports Commission Director General Bukola Olupade. NBF Secretary General Vivian Azimen confirmed the trials featuring 101 men and 27 women have congressed through parliamentaries and quarterfinals, with semi-finals set for Thursday and championship bouts scheduled for Friday, March 6. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has officially moved the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON to a new summer slot, with the tournament now scheduled to run from July 25th to August 16th, 2026. In an official statement, the Federation announced a change from the original date of March 17th to April 3rd, 2026, stating that the decision was made after consultations with key partners, including FIFA, to ensure the tournament's success in light of unforeseen circumstances. The statement confirmed Morocco remains the host nation for the competition, which was awarded to the country in October 2024. That's it on News Prime. Here's a quick look at our top stories again. On Global TV News Prime, we brought to you that the Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved a new exit benefit scheme that will grant retiring federal civil servants a gratuity equivalent to 100% of their total annual enrollment, marking a major policy shift in the country's public service retirement structure. And in business, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has proposed the establishment of a grid asset management company to address persistent challenge in Nigeria's electricity transmission network. And on the foreign scene, Somalia has approved a new constitution allowing lawmakers to be directly elected by the public for the first time in years of selection by clan elders and parliament. And finally, in sports, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has officially moved the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON to a new summer slot, with tournaments now scheduled to run from July 25th to August 16, 2026. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.